Hello all, I'm your host, Rodimus Prime. It is Thursday, June 16th, 2022. Hopefully the vibes are good and your mind is sharp. And today we are going to be looking at the Carolina Panthers and what is going on in the world of that team. It is 87 days to the official kickoff of the football season, and we're going to be doing a week-to-week check-in with this team and to see what's going on in terms of trades, in terms of news stories, in terms of headlines. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as I give my take on the second week as we build up to the NFL season of the Carolina Panthers. Going to start this day, we're kind of looking at our first story, and we're going to be talking about our wide receiver two, and that's Robby Anderson making some comments recently. He was talking about potentially retiring at one point in this off season, and basically backtracked on it. And when the press asked him about, potential retirement, he said, "I'm here," right? If he backs out of this season at any potential point in time, he loses about $11 million. And that's something you don't want to hear going into a training camp, a mandatory mini camps, a OTAs, all that good stuff. And I said A three times there. And for me, I this guy, he was asked about Baker Mayfield and kind of said, I don't want him. And he said he was just thinking out loud, but at the same time, you support your quarterback, which I get. The "I'm here," right comment when asked about retirement, that bugs me a little bit, because who's to say this guy doesn't walk off the field in the middle of a game? Not that we've ever seen that happen before, right? Needless to say, it's kind of a worrying thing. Because we've got DJ Moore, we've got Robby Anderson. There's our 1-2. We just re-signed Keith Kirkwood. He's coming in as our 3. He had a little bit of an IR last year, a little bit of injured reserve, but we've got him. We just signed as a undrafted free agent this Bob Babbitts. I think that's how you say it. It's Josh Babbitts. He's going to try to play tight end. He averaged 15.8 yards a catch at North Dakota State. Could be a potential sleeper. I don't know, but these are good pieces to have around. But it's very scary to look at it from this perspective when one of your wide receivers kind of goes a little bit off the cuff there and says something like that, because this is a season where we're trying to figure out our identity. And when you make comments like that, it brings turmoil into that locker room, because then you have guys wondering, are you committed to being here? When you get into a team sport, at the end of the day, the one thing you're trying to win is a championship. And that's what you play your whole life for. That's what you play that game for, any sport for that matter. You want to be on the biggest stage for the biggest prize in that game, so everybody can watch you and you can perform, put on a show, and be a chapter in the history books. Because once you win that championship, you are immortalized in history forever. Because we go back and we look at some of these greats and what they've done, and we look at the championships. We don't look at the teams who lost in those championship games. They don't get the admiration, all that stuff that people talk about. It's the guys who actually won. It's the reason that we put such athletes on pedestals that we do, because they have achieved so much greatness repetitively. You look at Michael Jordan. Look what he did in the amount of time that he did it at. That's the reason he's put on that pedestal. It's like Tom Brady today and what he's doing in the NFL. It's unprecedented and it's never been done. And they will be talked about for years to come. And that's what people get into this sport for. And for me, if you're going to make comments like that and the season hasn't even started, preseason, it hasn't even started yet. Man, you ain't even gone out to do some sprints yet and you're making that kind of comment, bro. Like, come on, Robby. Come on, man. Goodness. It's just worrisome. As a fan, it's worrisome. And I got to hope for the best. But if he gets traded before the end of the season, I won't be surprised. So if you're planning on drafting Robby Anderson in your fantasy league, maybe hold off this year, because he might not be a number 2 in the season going forward. So just kind of remember that, guys. Next up, we're going to be kind of looking at something here. We've got the overall stats of Baker Mayfield here. And a lot of talks the last few days or groundswell has been that we're going to trade for Baker Mayfield. Right now, it's just a question of how much money we're going to pay out to him. And I just figured we'd look at his overall stats here, and we would see what he's done, and to see if it's really worth it. You look at his first year in the league, and it's 2018. He's 23 at the time. As a starter, he goes 6-7. He completes 63% of his passes. He has 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. His long is 71 yards, and it's your average rookie quarterback season. You go about 50-50 on your wins losses. I can't really gauge anything from that. Now we're in what is known as the sophomore slump, which is 2019. He's 24 at the time. He as a QB record, he goes 6-10. Okay, that's a starter. That's a full season. He goes 317 completions to 534 attempts with abysmal under 60%, 3,800 yards. So he legit added almost 48 attempts and only completed 7 more of his passes, and only added a little like 90, or excuse me, was that 9? No, that's 102 yards. And he had 5 less touchdowns and 7 more interceptions. That's not a drop off, that's a fall off a cliff in terms of performance. So we can kind of look at that sophomore year as we get to his third season. He's age 25, third year in the league. This is supposed to be a big year in the league for a lot of guys. As a starter, he goes 11-5. His completions are dropping every year, and his attempts are staying about the same. 62% completion percentage, 3,500 yards. So he's throwing the ball less, and he's gaining less yards. He had 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. So they basically had him as a game manager. There's never a season so far where I've seen him take a game over and dominate, which you need from your quarterback sometimes. To win a championship, you need some things to go right. And sometimes you need a guy to step up. And a lot of times it has to be your quarterback. So now, okay? We go to last year. Now, this was his last year in Cleveland. He went 6-8 as a starter. So for his career, for 4 years in Cleveland, overall, he went 29-30. There's not a winning record over 4 years, okay? Okay. He threw the least amount of completions he ever has and had the least amount of attempts. So he's at 61.6% completion percentage for his total career. And he's thrown 14,000 yards, 92 touchdowns, and 56 interceptions. He has thrown over half of the amount of interceptions to touchdown ratio. That is insane. It's like a 2-to-3 ratio. That's insanity. That's not good. And for his final year, touchdown interception, it was 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I'm looking at these numbers. Baker is another Sam Darnold. Is another Daniel Jones. He is another Jameis Winston. It's the same guy, just in a different system. It's these middle-of-the-road quarterbacks who will give you 3,000 yards, who will give you 15 to 20 touchdowns, and 10 to 15 interceptions. It's going to get you a 9-8 record. It's going to get you an 8-9 record, a 7-10 record, a 6-11 record, and you're not going to win any playoff games. You might make the playoffs randomly one year because your defense might step up, or you might have an insane running back season or something like that, and that can happen, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl. And unfortunately, if we take Baker Mayfield, we're taking on another quarterback who's not going to lead us to a Super Bowl. I don't have high hopes when it comes to him as a player. I don't have high hopes when it comes to him as leader, because the guy has not shown me anything to give me hope for as a leader. Do I think he's better than Sam Darnold? No. Do I think that if we bring him in, he will eventually be slotted over Sam Darnold because of McAdoo? Yes. He fits McAdoo to a T. McAdoo's sitting there slobbering right now because, we might get Baker Mayfield. And for me, I'm just sitting here as a fan. I don't want this to happen. I am telling you, we do not want those problems. We do not want Baker Mayfield for our team. Trust me. As a fan who has seen football a long time, we don't want him. And if he comes to our team, it's not going to be good. I will not be surprised if he lasts. We take him. We sign him. I will not be surprised if it is legit just for 2 years and then he's traded somewhere else. This is a bad move. I think the team needs to reconsider their options, and I think they need to look elsewhere. Because the real question I have, guys, is in general, are we a team now who's just looking for cast-offs? When did we start settling as a team for our quarterbacks? Like, yes, I got to give props that we went out and we drafted one in Matt Corral. Even if it was a third-round pick and he gets the bad press that he does, that's still, us taking the initiative. But lately it's been, let's take Sam Darnold from the Jets. Let's take Baker Mayfield from the Browns. When did we decide that we wanted quarterbacks that were on teams that were losing games consistently for years, and we said, let's have them come lose games for us? That's my real question right now as a fan. When did that become a thing for us? And I'm just kind of wondering what their plans are. We watch from year to year these moves occur, and I see them take these guys, and I'm sitting here, I'm going, okay, what's the plan? And then I watch the same thing happen. That's happened since 2015 when we went 15-1 and we went to the Super Bowl and we crapped the bed. I got to wonder what we're doing. And as a fan, you got to hope for the best because you don't know how the season's going to play out. But with all the moves and all the things I'm hearing, all the things I'm seeing, I said 8-9. Well, every time this kind of weeks happen, it's looking more and more like a 7-10, 6-11, 5-12 season. Now we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure that in the next couple days we're going to sign Baker Mayfield. Pretty sure by the time the middle of the season comes, Robby Anderson is going to be traded. I will not be surprised if the head coach is fired at the midway point of the season because we aren't winning games, and Ben McAdoo is slotted as the replacement coach, and then at the end of the season, he is then replaced by somebody else. It's not looking good as a Panthers fan, and I'm trying to be optimistic, but it is dang hard when this kind of stuff keeps happening. But alright, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the opinions stated in this video are my own, so you don't have to agree with them. Heck, you may even hate them. But I appreciate you sitting through the entirety of the video. Before you go, if you could do me just one more small favor, if you could please like the video and subscribe, I would really, really appreciate that. And as always, I will see you all tomorrow.